Hey Starseeds! So we're going to be making one of my favorite Mediterranean dishes today. A one-pot orzo and meatballs recipe. And this is actually Nigela's recipe, but I'm making a vegan version of this, okay? So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a tablespoon of veggie broth and you're going to place it in recently boiled water, about 1 3/4 cup of recently boiled water. So you're just going to put that in. And then with your very long spoon, give it a little mix, just so it combines. And this is gonna go straight into my dehydrated soya mince, okay? So this is the only soya mince that I can find in the country that I'm living in. It's dehydrated soya mince, and what we have to do is actually hydrate it, which is why we are using boiled water to do that. And that's gonna go in. And then we're just gonna give it a little mix. And it's gonna take about 15 minutes or so for the soya mince to actually hydrate. So while that's hydrating, we're gonna go ahead and add in some of our spices, okay? So we're adding in a teaspoon of coriander powder, a teaspoon of cumin powder. So it's good to get all these spices in, make your meatballs nice and spicy. Did I mention that we're starting off by making the meatballs? So this is, did I even mention that? No, I didn't mention that. Okay, so we're actually making the meatballs right now, by the way. We're adding in a teaspoon of sweet paprika. We're adding in half a tablespoon of sea salt and 2 tablespoons of soya sauce. By the way, all these ingredients are organic. Anything that has soya in it is organic, which is always good. And now, so we're gonna give this a good mix, just to get all those spices combined. It smells good. And we are just going to set that aside, and we're gonna make our egg, okay? Because usually in non-vegan meatballs, they always add an egg or two to bind the meatballs. That's what Nigela does. But since we are not eating eggs, we're gonna go ahead and make a vegan egg. And we're gonna do this by adding to a bowl, can you see that? 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 4 tablespoons of white wine. This is gonna give our meatballs nice depth flavor, and 3 tablespoons of chickpea flour. So that's gonna go in. And then with a fork or one of those cute little mini whisks, which I don't have, by the way, we're just going to mix all that up, just until you get a kind of creamy consistency. I desperately need one of those mini whisks. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait another 10 minutes until my soya mince is hydrated, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add in the egg, the vegan egg. So I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Okay, so I actually added in another 1/4 cup of water. So in order to hydrate the soya mince, maybe you're gonna have to add 2 cups instead of 1 cup and 3/4, okay? So now we're gonna take our egg that we made, and we are going to pour it in. It smells so good, you know, like the white wine. And now we're about to put our spices in as well, so it's gonna give it a nice flavor. Now, this is the first time I'm using this. I got this for my birthday, and Nigela also uses it for cutting up things. So we just have here some thyme, some fresh oregano and thyme. And I'm just going to coarsely chop this, and then, oh, it smells delicious. Just chop it up nice and fine. Okay. And if I had to measure, I would say, I don't know, a tablespoon of fresh herbs. So those are going in. And just gonna give this a mix. So we're gonna give this a nice good mix. And now we're gonna add in 1.5 cups of wheat germ. Now you could use breadcrumbs for this, but I'm actually going to be using wheat germ, so put that in. Mix it up. And this is the part where you're going to have to use your hands to knead it and make cute little balls. And the size of the balls we're going to make for this are going to be quite small. I don't want the meatballs to really overpower the orzo in this dish. I want it to be just a pretty small size. So with my hands, I'm just going to make sure that everything is nicely combined. And wheat germ is actually quite nutritious. You're going to get a really good zinc hit for those of you who are deficient in zinc. So I kneaded the dough for about 1 or 2 minutes, and now the final thing that you have to do is just place about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of grated vegan cheese in there, and then knead it again until all of the cheese is nicely combined. So because we added a little more water into the soya mince, I went ahead and added just a little bit more wheat germ. So in the description below, I will tell you guys exactly how much I used. Okay, so our meatballs are ready. This was the most difficult part of the video. And after this, it's just smooth sailing and super easy one pot goodness. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna roll our meatballs. And again, I wouldn't advise you to make like super big balls for this recipe. I mean, they should be relatively small. So you're just going to roll it up like so. This is actually a good size. Place it on some parchment paper, and I'll see you guys in a few minutes because I'm gonna go ahead and do all of this. So the meatballs are ready, and now we're just gonna get ready to throw everything in a pot. And guys, you guys are gonna love this recipe, but before we do so, I just wanna show you what kind of orzo I'm using. For those of you who don't know what orzo is, it means barley in Italian. And this is just basically, I'm using spelt orzo, and this is shortcut pasta, but it looks like long grain rice. Okay, it's very, very delicious, little melt in your mouth jewels of goodness. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off by adding some olive oil generously to our pan, non-stick pan, and then we're going to add in 2 onions. So I'm going to add that in and just give it a little stir. I'm gonna add in also 2 tablespoons of oregano. 2 tablespoons. I'm not measuring right now, but I did previously. That's about 2 tablespoons. And just give it a good mix so that the olive oil coats the oregano and the onions. And you're just going to let that cook for about 7 minutes until the onions are nice and translucent. At this point, we're going to add in 1/2 cup of red wine. And to it, 2 cans of chopped tomatoes. Just going to, oops, I got it all over myself. Try not to do that. This has got to go straight in the wash after we finish this video. Carefully plop 2 cans. And then to that, just take the cans and fill them with water. Pour it in. There we go. Don't forget your 1 tablespoon of broth, or as much broth as you like. This is about a tablespoon. And then you're just gonna give that a good mix. It smells so good. I can smell the wine and the oregano. It smells wonderful. So now that we've mixed it up, we are going to go ahead and add in 2 cloves of garlic. This is gonna add in a lot of flavor. If you don't like garlic, you're not a garlic person, don't worry about it. You can just leave it out, but I love garlic. So that's 1 clove, and clove number 2. Give it a good mix. Now we are adding in a cup of milk. I'm using soy milk. This is organic soy milk. You can use any kind of milk you want, but I actually like using this kind of milk because it gives a kind of creaminess. And now you can see that it's actually changing color from a nice ruby red to a sort of whitish color. So now we're gonna add in, because you can't make a Mediterranean dish without bay leaves, and this will give you such a nice flavor. So we're gonna add in a few of these beautiful leaves. So I let this come to a simmer, and now what I'm gonna do is add a little bit of sea salt in there. Of course, sea salt to taste as much as you feel like you need. And now what we're gonna do is just gently take your meatballs and drop them in like so. Now I've made 24 meatballs, but there's actually a little less than half of the meatball mixture left over. So what you could do is just put it in the fridge and then use it another day, or you could just use all of them. So normally people would fry these up first, but we're not doing this here because this is supposed to be an easy one-pot meal. So we're just going to dump these in, and they will actually boil inside with the orzo. Okay. So now we're just going to cover this with the lid and let it come to a boil and let it cook for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna add in the orzo. Our meatballs have been cooking for about 5 minutes, and now all we have to do is add in our orzo. Like I said earlier on, I am actually using spelled orzo, okay? This is organic spelled orzo. You can use any kind of orzo you want, and this is about 1.5 cups. So we're just gonna place all of that goodness inside and gently just give it a mix, because you don't want to break up your meatballs, like so. Look how you can see the meatballs peeking through the water. Okay, that's perfect. And now what we're gonna do is we're going to cover this up with a lid, and this is gonna be ready in 20 minutes. Actually, let me correct myself, partially cover the pot, okay? You don't wanna fully cover it, just like that. I'll see you guys in 20 minutes. Okay guys, so our dish is ready, and I cooked it for 20 minutes and then I actually left it in the pot with the lid on for another 5-6 minutes, and voila. Have a very, very delicious Mediterranean vegan meatballs and orzo. And this is how we're gonna serve it. Yum. Oh yes. Let's get one more meatball in there. Delicious. And I like to just add a little bit of sea salt for extra saltiness, a little dash of cinnamon. I know you think it's weird that I add cinnamon in my food, but it just goes. It just goes with everything. I love cinnamon. And a little bit of vegan cheese on top. Actually, I'll use a smaller setting. Oh my God, look at that. That is just beautiful. And I'm really hungry and so excited to eat this. Okay. Honestly, this is the most comforting dish, especially now that the weather is changing a little bit and it's getting a bit cooler outside. Oh my God, it's delicious. Tomatoes and red wine, and also these meatballs are just really, can you see that? I just cut into one, and I'm gonna take a bite. It's perfect. Okay, guys. It is October, and this is the perfect meal to make if you want to snuggle up under the covers and have a really comforting dish. This is it, okay? So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you like the video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, you know that I'm here every single Wednesdays and Sundays giving you really delicious plant-based recipes. So I'll see you guys next time for the next recipe. And don't forget to look into the description below to just see all the measurements that I'm using for this recipe and little details that you're gonna have to know while making this, okay? So I'll see you guys next time. Mwah.